There is a modern anxiety that we all share. We are working on a project or trying to solve a problem, and the second we hit a wall, we feel this subtle irritation. We used to tolerate that not knowing feeling for a few minutes or maybe an hour before. We sat with the confusion and struggled with the problem, but something has changed. Today we treat confusion as an error to be corrected instantly. We jump to an AI assistant like ChatGPT immediately before we have even finished articulating the question to ourselves. I have felt this shift in my own life. I'm a software developer, and for the last 2 years, I have used AI for almost everything I do. Initially, it felt like a superpower, but I have realized that I reach for answers faster than ever. I tolerate confusion even less. My first thought isn't to think through a solution, but to delegate the task. So, why can't we just sit with the problem anymore? It's actually more complicated than just being lazy or distracted. It's a shift in our very architecture of thought, and that's what we need to talk about. For most of human history, thinking was slow by necessity. If we wanted to learn, we had to wrestle with a text that didn't talk back. If we were confused, we remained confused until we did the work to fix it. That struggle was critical for improving our thinking capacity. But we are moving into an era that values ready-made information over deep understanding. We are offloading our responsibilities onto machines, and as we do, we have to ask what is happening to our mind. If we are training ourselves to enjoy the frictionless path, we are also training our brains to avoid the very resistance required for growth. This leads us to a specific kind of mental habit, one that psychologists call cognitive offloading. It's a fancy term for a simple modern behavior. It's the moment we decide to stop using our own internal resource to solve a problem and instead hand that work over to an external tool. So the fundamental question is, are we actually becoming more efficient, or are we simply giving up our ability to think? The way people tell this story, AI is just the next step in human evolution. If you look online, the standard explanation is that we shouldn't worry. People say that prompting is the new literacy. The argument is that we are moving to a higher level of thought, that we are now the architects rather than the builders. But it's not that simple. This assumes that you can delegate a task you don't actually know how to do yourself. For example, if we ask an AI to write a complex piece of software and we don't understand the underlying logic ourselves, we're not really managing the AI, we are at its mercy. In reality, prompting isn't a new form of literacy, it is often just a new form of dependency. By delegating the struggle of thinking, we are essentially asking the machine to go to the gym for us, and when we do this, we are the ones who become weaker. In a study titled Your Brain on ChatGPT, MIT researchers found that people using AI to write essays saw significantly less activity in the brain network associated with memory and planning. Even more alarming, 83.3% of the AI users couldn't recall a single complete sentence from their own essay afterward. Because the AI provided the answer, their brains didn't feel the need to store the meaning. But if the MIT study shows that we are experiencing reduced brain connectivity, another researcher, Michael Gerlich, uncovers the collapse of our intellectual process. Gerlich surveyed over 600 people, and his research found a significant negative link between frequent AI usage and critical thinking ability. But he goes deeper into why. He breaks critical thinking into three stages: analysis, evaluation, and inference. Analysis is the act of breaking down a complex problem into pieces. Evaluation is checking if those pieces are actually true or biased. Inference is drawing a logical conclusion from them. The impact here is that AI allows us to skip all three. We aren't breaking down problems, we aren't evaluating the machine's black box logic, and we certainly aren't drawing our own conclusions. When you looked for the single biggest cause of this decline, it wasn't a person's age or even their educational level. It was cognitive offloading that I mentioned earlier in the video. Every time we ask the machine to do the heavy lifting for us, we may save time, but we are also training our brains that they no longer need to be involved in the process. In the interviews Gerlich conducted, one participant put the feeling perfectly. The more I use AI, the less I feel the need to problem solve on my own. It's like I'm losing my ability to think critically. This brings us to a deeper philosophical issue. There is a famous quote from Blaise Pascal: all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. When we think about critical thinking, we are talking about something that is inwardly directed. It's a slow process of reflection, but AI is outward process. It provides the final result immediately, which robs us the solitude required to generate unique thoughts. In his book, Digital Minimalism, Carl Newport argues that we are suffering from something called solitude deprivation. We are constantly connected, constantly fed by algorithms, and AI is the ultimate form of being spoon-fed. We do not have any time to just think our own thoughts when you are hyper connected with everyone's ideas in the internet. When I was in high school 9 years ago, I did not rely on internet that much, and I definitely didn't have AI assistants back then. My primary source of knowledge was physical textbooks. I made a lot of mistakes back then. I had false assumptions, I faced roadblocks, but because I had to struggle through different topics in chemistry, math, physics, biology, and literature, I actually fit all that knowledge into my brain. I was cognitively fit because there was resistance. But with AI accessing my postgraduate studies now, I don't feel like I'm struggling the same way I was in high school, and it's quite concerning for me. So what do we do? I don't think the answer is to never use AI. That could be too extreme. But we have to recognize that when we start using a tool, we don't just gain something, we also lose something. We need to reclaim what Blaise Pascal called the ability to sit quietly in a room alone. We need to embrace a state of mind that is free from input from other minds or other machines. AI responses should be the beginning of a thought, not the end. We must learn to use it as an aid to curiosity, not the replacement for struggle, because the moment we make confusion optional, we make understanding optional too. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.